G'day trendsetters, welcome to the next episode of Ask the Gravel Cyclist Crew a Question. So today I'm coming to you from the bustling metropolis, or the blip of a community known as Templars in South Australia. This little municipality is just a little bit southwest of the winemaking region of the Barossa Valley in South Australia. So location aside, let's get some of these questions answered. This question comes from John of Brunswick, Georgia, and he writes, "Hi John, I love the website and videos. You have become my go-to site for everything about gravel riding." Oh John, that is awesome, man. I really appreciate hearing comments like that. Thank you. His question is it always a race? What I mean is it frowned upon to enter a race or event just for the challenge? What is a good pace to finish on time? I'm 51, I ride a 2017 Cannondale Slate. I've got some new WTB Renegades on the way, great tyre, and I'm a pretty good rider. That being said, the pace of some of the younger or more experienced riders seems way out of my range. I'd like to enter some events such as the Dirty Pecan, the Middle Georgia Epic, etc. I know I won't win, but I want to challenge myself and say I completed the course, but I'm afraid it'll take longer for me to finish because the average speed that I hold is around 12 to 14 mile an hour. That's across all of the different road services that John's talking about. Is that good enough? So John, the deal with these rides and events and whatnot is that, you know, you're supposed to have fun. So, you know, if you're averaging 12, 14, it doesn't matter. I mean, it is a challenge for you just to finish these events. Middle Georgia Epic is about 125 miles long. I've ridden it. It's a hard event, a very tough event, but also a fun event. So with an event like that, you want to ride your own tempo. Do not fall into the trap of going out too hard and then cracking later on and having a miserable day. So ride your own tempo, don't worry about what others do, just have fun with it. And if you do manage to ride with another rider, you can trade turns, hide from the wind, just have a nice time with the person, talk about stuff, talk about the scenery, and just enjoy the day. So like I said, it's about participation in the gravel. No one really gives a crap about who wins. It's just more about having fun on your bicycle. I mean, like, look here, I'm not riding right now, but there's no one out here. It's a bit windy, but this is a fantastic day to ride a bike. I'm going to go for a ride soon. Thanks for your question. This question comes to us from Pat in Japan. I believe that Pat is an expatriate, probably Americano, but I'm not going to make judgments here. Anyway, he loves the YouTube channel for Gravel Cyclist. Awesome, dude, thank you. And if you are watching this video right now, don't forget to subscribe and tell all of your friends about it. Okay, plug over. So Pat is, he's got a GT grade with Shimano 105, and it came with some Alex wheels of some kind. It was pretty cheap, he says, and it weighs quite a bit, about 22 pounds, about 10 kilograms. Anyway, he loves commuting on this bike and taking on the gravel trails he knows about. So he wants to upgrade the wheels and he's looking for consideration. Actually, he's mentioned a wheel set I was going to recommend. He's considering the Hunt 4-season gravel wheel set. Now, that wheel set I've actually reviewed on the gravelcyclist.com website, Pat. It's a smoking deal. It's a decently lightweight, it's very reliable, and it comes with a bunch of adapters for different axles and also your rotor type. So honestly, I think you're better off choosing the wheel set you asked about. But whatever choice you're not making, good luck with your riding. Thank you for the question. This question comes to us from Will in the Bay Area of California, and he writes, "What are your thoughts on bikes such as the Cannondale Slate or those that use the Lauf grit suspension fork?" The Slate also has front suspension, trendsetters, in case you missed that. Will rides on a Cannondale Slate and he tends to see a lot of these in my race videos. So to answer your question, my thoughts, first of all, bike setup is an individual choice. I'm not here to tell you shouldn't be riding suspension or whatnot. As for me, I prefer not to ride suspension. I like to keep my bike set up very simple. Also, suspension adds weight, and you can get some free suspension effect by simply lowering your tire pressure. I see so many riders at races and rides, they've got their tire pressure just out of control high. For example, 50 to 60 PSI. That is how you guaranteed a bone-jarring ride. In this bike right here, the X-Labs T3, I've been running 32 PSI front and 35 PSI rear, that's tubeless, with the Panorama Gravel King in 700C by 35. It measures about 38 on these Boyd wheels. So that's a great way to easily get some extra suspension. Just make sure you have appropriate tire pressure. And the other thing is, try and stay relaxed on the bike, because if you're tense, that also burns so much energy, especially when you're on a rough road. You really want to relax and let the bike float. That's one of the biggest energy kills, is just being uptight. You want to be relaxed and you want the bike to float across the terrain as best as you can. But again, bike setup is personal, but thank you for your question. We have another suspension question here, trendsetters. This one's from a bloke who, his name is Kenno, I believe. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. And he's from the People's Republic of Oregon. Fascinating. Anyway, he's really interested in purchasing a gravel bike that is also capable of riding on the pavement. Well, that's a no-brainer. They can do that, no problems at all right there. He's not interested in riding cyclocross, but about half on gravel and half on pavement. He's looking at the 2018 Specialized Diverge with its Future Shock front suspension. Is the Future Shock a legitimate and functional component or a short-run gimmick? Now, Kenno, I've not actually ridden that bike or seen that suspension system up close, apart from just in magazines and online, but it was developed, I believe, by the bloke who designed the original Cannondale head shock system, which was quite good actually. I believe it's got about 20 millimeters of travel, and it's above the head tube but beneath the stem. I think I'm correct on that. Anyway, I think it's got some merit for sure, because it doesn't weigh a ton compared to some of the other fork solutions we've seen out there right now, and you know, it will take some buzz off the harshness of a road for sure. So honestly, I think you're better off trying to get hold of one from your dealer, take it for a spin around the block, and see if you notice maybe any excessive like rebound or give if you're out the saddle, because that can be a bit disconcerting for sure. And see if it's really worth your time. But I really do wish you luck, I should say, with your purchase. Thanks for your question. This question comes to us from Dr. Sneezo of Ohio. Where do you guys find these names? John, have you noticed that when riding in cold weather or allergy season, that you have excessive nasal discharge? How do you deal with this while riding solo or on group rides? And do you have any other discharges that you have to deal with? Okay, so if you're going to blow your nose, it's obviously best to do it solo. So if you're riding by yourself, you don't have to worry about too much about discharge, mucus, snot, whatever you want to call it, going over yourself. It might get you on the shorts, but you know, it's your snot. Now, in a group, it's a different story, and I will admit that I've been guilty of this, unfortunately. So I thought one time I blew my nose, like, and unfortunately the mucus contents kind of sprayed the rider behind me on their leg, maybe their face too, I don't know. But I thought that the wind was going to carry it away another direction. It was an honest mistake. They did yell at me a bit. Now, if you're going to ride in a group ride on the road or gravel or wherever you're at, and you need to clear your nose, simply pull out of the line or out of the group and back off maybe behind, and then clear your nose. That way, you're guaranteed of not covering anybody in mucus and pissing everybody off. So that's a good thing. As for other discharges, well, yeah, okay, we're going to end this question right here. Thanks a lot. This question comes to us from Trevor of Calgary in Alberta, Canada. He writes, why do titanium bikes seem to always have carbon fiber forks? This one here has a carbon fiber fork. Why not titanium forks? If titanium is so durable and compliant of a ride, it seems like making the fork out of titanium as well would make sense. So the problem, Trevor, is that titanium is difficult to weld, and every titanium fork I've ever seen, well, I've seen about 2 or 3 in person, to be honest, and they've invariably developed cracks around the welds. And there's actually quite a few images on the internet of failed titanium forks. Now, you don't ever want a fork to fail, so I honestly don't think it's the right application for titanium. I don't know anything about welding really, so I'm not an expert on this matter, but I mean, I realize there's steel forks that have always been around for years and they've never had a problem. Just titanium, the way it's manufactured, the way it's welded, it just never seems to hold together for a fork. So I guess that's the best I can answer your question, Trevor. But yeah, I think it's best you steer clear of that and stick with a brand name carbon fork. Thanks for your question. camera's about to fall over. It is. Whoa, this wind is crazy. Man.